Attention all Peach Yuri shippers, stay away. This movie is not for you. I repeat, Peach Yuri shippers, stay away. This movie is not for you. Or maybe it is. Maybe you might like it. Maybe you're a little freaky like that. Okay, so this isn't really a review. I was gonna do a review, but upon doing all the editing and stuff like that, I realized that I really didn't provide anything new. It was the same shit that you would have seen from a different reviewer. And so instead of doing that, I wanted to talk about, and it's more of a rant and a question about why can't we just enjoy mindless slop anymore? And so if you go on Twitter, if you've been on Twitter for the past few days, you will see that there is a civil war going on involving this Mario Galaxy movie. And if you look into it, you can see that there's actually like two wars at play here. So the first war is more of a political one. It's your classic left versus right, liberals versus conservatives. So apparently, conservatives are very pro Mario Galaxy movie, and the liberals are very against this movie. Now, their argument for this is that the conservatives, they like this movie because it lacks people of color and it lacks LGBT representatives, and they think of it as a good conservative family movie. And apparently, the liberals don't like it because it lacks those qualities. My personal opinion about it, though, is that I think this is all just rage bait. I only see conservatives talk about this movie and try to amplify it and say, you don't like this movie because it doesn't have blah, 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 blah. And that they kind of rage bait the liberals into attacking them. And that's really it. I don't actually see people critique this movie because it doesn't have LGBT or people of color. I've never seen that at all. Nor have I actually even seen people talk about this movie in a positive light because of those qualities, because they lack those qualities. I think this is all just pure rage bait because let's be honest, what else is there to do on Twitter other than rage bait and crash out? That's what Twitter's for. That's what I use it for, at least. So the second war at play here is Goy slop enthusiasts versus condescending critics. Now, this is divided up into two groups. The first group is the slop enthusiasts. They're kind of seen as, they consume mindless shit that is in front of them. Their mindset is kind of like consume, consume, consume. Defend Billion Dollar Company. Defend Billion Dollar Company. Consume, consume, consume. Now, that's the first group. The second group of the condescending critics, they're upset that the Mario movie doesn't make them think. Mario doesn't talk about the concept of life and death and give the viewer an existential crisis, and it doesn't talk about how capitalism is crushing the mushroom kingdom and how they must replace it with an anarcho government. But upon solving all their problems, they find that only new one arises and that the cycle of war will never end, and that there is no such thing as true peace. That's the second group. Now, I do see a lot more people that agree with the second group, maybe not as hardcore, but they do complain that the Mario movie doesn't really talk about deeper quality things. My personal opinion, I actually liked the Mario movie. I don't think Mario needs to talk about certain subjects in order to be a good movie. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, do I think that the movie could be better? Yes. Do I think that the movie was good? Yes. Would I recommend it to anyone? No. Do I think it's good critically? No. But it's fun. It's entertaining, and that's what it's here for. That's what movies are for. So another thing that a lot of people are complaining about is how the movie should have went to a different studio. Like it should have went to Sony, Disney, Pixar, even Warner Brothers. And it is fun to think about how the movie would have turned out like that. But I think Illumination did a great job. But I think the reason why the story was all over the place is because of Nintendo and how Mario is written, or the games are. So Mario is like the pioneer of the save the princess genre. And they do this for a reason, because if Mario had a, certified canon, it would mess with the creativity and mechanics of the Mario game. Having a loose canon allows the developer to, come up with all these crazy ideas. You go into space, or you can go and fight on a beach, on an island, or just different things. It allows them more creative freedom by not having a locked canon. And so this is good for video games, but when you try to translate that into a movie, it makes it a lot harder. And given what Illumination had to work with, I think they did a very good job. Still keeping the canon kind of loose, not really locking them into something, but also making a story that is engaging as they did, right? They didn't want to lock Mario. They did kind of lock Mario in with at least some certain characters, but that's kind of already kind of given with the games if you've played Mario Galaxy. And even then, they kind of swapped something out, but I wouldn't be surprised if going into the future, if this movie kind of affects the game with that certain lore behind them. But, or it might not. Who knows? But only time will tell. But with that, I also have to say, what is wrong with liking mindless slot movies? There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. And if you look at history, you probably have a good mindless slot movie that you like too. Me personally, I really love Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite is a classic movie. I love it. But if you look at that movie, there is no plot. There is no antagonist. There is no theme. There is nothing going on. It is simply these characters going from point A to point B. It is a slice of life. It's an American slice of life, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. You also have big name movies like Dazed and Confused, or even a movie by Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That movie has no plot whatsoever. You're simply watching those two guys go from point A to point B. They have no real drive. They have nothing going on. Sure, they have their own little backstory, but that's really about it. There is no goal in those movies other than just to watch them go about their lives. And that's fine. I think of Mario the same way. The Mushroom Kingdom is vast. It is huge. And it's a little, crazy at times. Just like this movie, there's a lot going on that we don't really know because the Mario games are vague and the movie's vague. And it's fine. It's fun. But this is all subjective, right? There is no actual objective proof. Like, this is actually a very bad movie. There is nothing objective when it comes to forms of art. It's all subjective. You either like it or you don't like it. There is no fact upon anything of this, right? So if you like it, hey, welcome to the club. I really enjoyed this movie. If you dislike it, that's fine too. There's a ton of other movies for you to watch. But I think we also need to kind of realize that not liking something because it doesn't get your brain functioning or it doesn't make you think outside of the box doesn't make you better than someone who does enjoy this type of stuff. And for some reason, this has been a new trend coming along where if you like something that is very baseline, very basic, apparently you're dumb, and that people who dislike that type of stuff, they're smarter than you automatically. They have a higher IQ than you. And I think that's just ridiculous, There's nothing wrong with enjoying mindless, fun movies. So ending off that little rant review yap sesh, what did you guys think of the Mario movie? Personally, I loved it. But if you want my personal opinion, I think they could have made Fox a little less slutty. I mean, every time he was on screen, he was putting out. He was giving me Lola Bunny Space Jam vibes, like just pure sex appeal, They could have toned it down a little, just a little. But that's what I was thinking. I don't know. Maybe I'm a freak. I don't know. I'm a little weird. My mind was going there. But aside from that, what did you guys think? Do you have any fan theories about what the next movie may be about? They left it off kind of vague, and I don't really see how they can go from how this one ended. But if you have any theories, I would love to hear them. If you want to comment them down below. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace out.